Yes, Karen, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yes,
we can hear you.
We can hear
Yes.
you.
They can hear me. I'm good. I'm on a new computer, obviously, in the office, so my apologies. Let's go. Do we need to have staff do anything? Oh, no. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Apologies. I have a meeting at 10 here at City Hall, so I am on a City Hall computer for the first time. I think some people are frozen, though, in my view. Can people see and hear others? Brett, can you speak?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you are frozen for me, but if others can hear you, let's get started. Is Tony on?
Yes, I'm here. And by the way, Brett's moving on my screen. Matter of fact, he's dancing.
Excellent. The purpose of our meeting today is to convene a special meeting of the City Council Social Service Grant Committee for the purpose of an update from United Way regarding a review, return and review of the scoring of the applicants for our social service grants for this year. Because we are still in process, the names of the agencies will still be kept confidential. Those on the committee do have a list. If there are specific questions, those agencies are numbered, and so the question can be handled in that way. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Brett Martin. And Brett, I assume we'll just kind of review how you went about your scoring, your refreshed scoring, and your comfort with that process and the scores that you came up with.
Great. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, committee members. Thanks for the opportunity to share today. Just about 8 minutes ago, I sent a final draft to Liz. We received scores from an agency late on Friday after we had sent everything to you. So staff and I spent this morning making final calculations and final recommendations and updated a spreadsheet, and we're just able to send that out at about 8:59 this morning. So Chair, I can either wait a few moments and have that sent to all of you, or we can operate from the older one.
It just popped up on our email.
Great. So I'll give you just a couple of moments to pull that up. So as a reminder, in our initial recommendation meeting, we were asked to go back and look at all of those scores that were out of 90 points for those who did not have a past grant administration with the city, and also those that were out of 70, which would include those that did not have a past grant history with the city and also did not have outcomes listed in their application because they had not entered those into a city database. So upon the recommendation of the committee, we went back and we contacted agencies, and we're able to gather past grant administration effectiveness information and then score that according to the rubric. And we're also able to go back and have verified outcomes from programs and ensure that they were entered correctly and then scored. So we felt comfortable scoring these because these were based on hard data. And so it was fairly simple to apply the point values to those. So what I will do now is on my screen, I will pull up, not for public view, but pull up the total that I have here. There we go. So with this, we were able to go to, we were able to get the total to 434,904. We found that the threshold for those that received dollars and those that did not receive dollars remained the same. That is, the cutoff threshold was 81%. However, you will notice some changes based on the dollar amounts. So at this point, I will be referring to the numbers in column A to identify programs so that you're able to see those differences. So you'll notice that they are numbered 1 through 30, as we had 30 applicants for these grants. You'll notice additional columns J, K, L, and M. M is the one that you would want to pay particular attention to, because M indicates the change in dollar amounts based on our taking every score out of 100. So you'll notice, for example, labeled program number 4, based on this difference in scoring out of 100, recommendation goes up $250. I think someone's not on mute from the city of Topeka. You'll notice that program listed number 5 went up $215, and then you can follow that all the way down. Of particular note is program number 19 moved from $0 to their percent. So in other words, their score moved from 77% to 84%. And as a result, then they, were added to this grant recommendation.
Brett, can I please ask a question?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if this is an error or not, but number 14 on the original sheet was a 90%. So obviously they must have added something into their score, but then they went down to a 70% on the new one. I don't know how someone would have gotten worse, because it looked like you had all the points in there prior. Now they're number 24. I'm sorry, number 23 on the new sheet.
Yes. So initially they were They were 86%. Is that the one we're looking at, number 23? That was 86% that dropped to 70%?
Yes, but they were 90 on the one that you sent on Friday. I'm just wondering was there just a mistake on Friday that wasn't correct?
Correct. Yeah, we just took a look at that this morning. Yeah, it should have been, yes, there was an error on that.
So it is correct now.
Yes, this is the corrected form. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. So, with this in mind, having applied the revised instructions to the process, two of those programs that would have been recommended for grant dollars when we were scoring out of 100, 90, and then 70 fell just below that threshold. And the one program moved into recommendation for grant scoring, that one being 19, and the two that fell off being 22 and 23. When we were able to contact programs, we were able to gather information based on their past grant administration, as we've said. And then we were also able to gather information from them regarding outcomes. And they were able to send us outcomes that they had submitted for prior grants. And so that it wasn't simply them typing us an email and saying, yes, we received, or excuse me, yes, we met our outcomes. Those from the programs that we gathered those from, they came from official documentation that they had submitted to other grantors, so that we were comfortable in receiving that information. So that's a high-level overview of the revisions based on the process that was requested. I'll entertain any questions that you might have.
Has anybody got questions? I'm trying to scan the list. So Brett, I want to ask you one more time, because this is the first time we've used the third party checking, but you sound like you're confident that that this is solid for us.
Yes, we applied the process as requested, and were able to carry it out as requested. Again, we were able to request outcomes from those organizations for the same year as everyone else, and we're able to gather those based on information that they had sent to other grantors. And so they were able to do that. And then we were able to contact or take a look at other grantors and ensure that they had met that criteria for effective past grant administration, that reporting was on time and paperwork was accurate, reporting was on time but paperwork was not accurate, or that they were ineffective grant administrators. So we feel confident in applying the process as it was given to us. Well,
thank you so much on that, and we appreciate think I can safely speak on behalf of everyone how quickly you got on it and that it turned around, and that after those questions, pretty relieved to see that it worked as we had hoped. So thank you so much. If there are not questions, I need to lead to the committee. We did just get this morning. We had substantially delayed our decision-making process, thinking that United Way needed more time. So I don't know if the committee would be prepared to do something today. I need to hear from you all whether you'd like to try and do something. Yes, Tony.
Sorry. Brett, just to make certain, and again, we've set up this process. If this is the way the numbers fall, then that is great, and I will fully support this. I just want to make certain, since that one had a 16% change, it looks like they basically got a 70%. So you didn't have, they got a 0 in both those areas. Is that correct?
So they were already down 10 points initially. And then that program, when they submitted, they did receive points in one area, but not points in another area. So in other words, they were able to, we received the information, and they were awarded full points in past grant administration. However, they were not awarded full points in outcomes based on the information that they sent. So as a result, then they were at 70 out of 100, 10 points that had already been deducted in the initial panel scoring, and then the 20 points for outcomes.
Okay, thank you. And again, I appreciate that. And the only reason, like I said, I was asking was, since it was such a drastic change from the one we got on Friday, and it was just coincidental that that's 30 points. I thought it was the 20 and the 10, but it's not. You're saying it's really outcomes. So no.
That's correct. Yes, okay. And we actually caught that this morning. Again, full disclosure, I was working on that one that you got over the weekend at 11 o'clock on Friday night. So there was, the percentage was right. The out of 100 was not. And so we caught that this morning, and we're able to get those two aligned.
No problem. Thank you very much. Yeah, I do some late night bids, and usually that owner gets some great deals. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Well, and what that points up is that doing the homework, because the outcomes are important, and we decided we were not funding new programs. We were funding seasoned programs that needed to be proven, and that probably is no aspersion on the program. Perhaps they'd simply not done an outcomes-based process, but or didn't have enough history to have those demonstrated. But that's proving out the process that we had in place, it appears, which is good. Other questions? Councilman Emerson, Councilwoman Valdivia Alcala?
No, I have no questions.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the committee then in terms of next steps? We could accept this one and move on, or we could wait. We had delayed to actually have our approval, a consideration of the report of this vendor, and our approval was not going to be until August 11th. And 2 weeks later, the appeals hearing if we had any.
Chair,
Um,
is there any reason to wait? I guess I think the sooner organizations know what their funding is for next year, the better. Is that correct?
Agreed. We just want to give it to them once. So yes. If the committee members do not see any reason to continue our consideration of this, it could be adopted today, and the agencies would be advised time available by United Way later on today. That was their model for agency notice.
So,
correct, Brett?
yes, just one note. I would need to check with my staff to see what the day looks like today.
Sure.
Sure, because we have turned this around very quickly, and it's important that things are accurate, and so we need to make sure that we do that. The second thing I would just note for the committee is that there are 2 award amounts that are under 10,000, sorry, and that as a result, we did have discussion about that and determined that the request amount would be a minimum of 10,000, and then we would take a look at those that fell below that to see if it would be worth it for them, given that one of them is 9,100 and that their request was 10,000. That one obviously makes sense. Sorry, I have a barking dog. And that the other one is a fairly significant amount. It's over 6,000. That one seems very reasonable to have that there for those 2 programs and for us to move forward with those. So I just wanted to make note of that.
Thank you for that. That is important for us. So noted, and so committee members consider that as well. I personally am fine with that. We struggled and talked about that and felt like, as I recall, that might be the best solution for us. Obviously, if one of these was $1,200 or something like that, it would be a different conversation, perhaps.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Chair, I'm fine with that as well. I think that's good reasoning.
Well, I would, if the committee is ready, I would entertain a motion to approve the recommendations and
So moved,
advise
Chair.
the agency.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the recommendations and advise the agencies. Any further discussion? And that would include discussion from our observers if anybody has comments or questions. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right. We are approved. Brett, would it be safest to say that the agencies would hear by the end of the week or Wednesday, or what do you think?
We feel confident that we can have the communication to applicants by 5 p.m. on Wednesday.
By 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Okay. With that, let's see. Today is the 19th. Sounds like we need to reset the goal date for any requests for appeals and perhaps reset our we're definitely on for August 11th. Brett, from our turnaround times that we had before, do you have a recommendation then if we're going to let people know by Wednesday? What do we give everybody, a week? So a week from Wednesday would be the 28th.
Correct.
If we did that and then stuck with the 11th meeting that we already have set, is there a reason to try and do it earlier?
So the meeting on the 11th is to hear appeals. Am I correct?
Well, we had originally thought that we might not hear from you until then.
Okay.
So, but at this point, we've just zipped that up 3 weeks, and which is wonderful. But we do all have that date, I know, on our calendars.
Okay. Yes.
If we moved it up a week, that would make it a little tighter turnaround.
So when we send these out to programs, they will have a week to contact us in writing to indicate whether or not they wish to appeal. And so those instructions would be that they would indicate to us by 5 p.m. on July 28th whether or not they wish to appeal, at which point the next day we would contact the committee with the names of those programs that wish to appeal. And then we could either keep the 11th as an appeal date, which would give them 2 weeks, or we could adjust whatever is the pleasure of the committee.
I'm excited that we're really tightening up this timeline as it is. Committee members, what is your thought? Should we leave it at the 11th or try and do a week earlier?
I'm for leaving it as it is since I have it in my schedule already.
Okay.
I concur.
All right. Brett, Juliet, Jessica, and everybody else, Joyce, thank you so much for this work. This is heartening, validating of our process. Really appreciate it. Is there any other business for our committee today?
I just echo your comments there, Chair. I really appreciate all the work they've done. That's a fast turnaround. I really appreciate that.
I concur.
All right. Well, and thank you all for suffering with my first time on a new computer technicals. It looks like we've made it through. With that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Have a great day, everybody.